Hello and welcome to the last video of the LTA North portion of America's 2025 preview series. We're going over Team Liquid, who I've ranked third going into the season based on the entirety of last season's stats. I say that because despite them winning winning spring, they were 7-7 during the regular season. So it's not like they were, world beaters during a large portion of the entire year. And then I would say about 25% of the entire year, 20%, 25%. And then we look at the entirety of the rest of the year, and they were a top three team. They were a top two team, but in the end, Cloud9 make a couple changes. FlyQuest are the way they are for, summer and at Worlds, and we got to factor all that in, and Team Liquid are third. Not making any changes right now. The last 3 years, third, fourth, eighth, third, second, first. First, second, my apologies. So, pretty good run here, especially last year. Only one bad split out of the last 6. In top lane, we have Impact, who I have ranked fourth going into this season based on stats. I will say, stats do hurt this team because Impact is not a statistical menace, if you will. He's 29 years old, plays weak side. And it's funny, people were throwing around K'Sante Merchant around last season. The guy played 33 games of K'Sante out of 84, which may be the most, out of everybody that played a significant amount of games last year, if I looked at the tier 1 top laners, that could be the most games played by a player on one champion percentage-wise of the entire year. It's insane how many K'Sante games he played. Now, we know Impact can play more than that, but last year it's pretty much what he played. So 3.1 KDA, 56.2 KP, and only a 7.1 CS per minute. Very low resource. Now, with that, it's something interesting. Still a negative 0.6 share differential. So any resources he did get went into more tankier items and builds. 1.38 ROI. Dealt a lot of damage still. It's kind of weird, right? So I just said doesn't buy a lot of damage items, but still dealt a lot of damage. So what's going on here? Is the rest of the team dealing a lot of damage? Yes, the rest of the team deals a lot of damage. This team was one of the most aggressive teams last season in Tier 1. 195 gold ahead, 2.67 vision efficiency, 16 champions, 88 games, ranks 4th in LTA North, 29 years old. K'Sante, Rumble, and Jax were 61% of his games. Umpty in the jungle, ranks 6th in his role. I'm not a big Umpty guy. I know some people think Umpty is fantastic, and maybe as a shot caller he's very good, and paired with this team he is better than 6th, but statistically he is not, at least in the LCS, has not shown to be exceptional. 3.8 KDA, 70.6 KP, 5.7 CS per minute. Solid. Gets the job done. Negative 3.7 share differential. It's still a 1.1 ROI because the team deals a lot of damage. Down 110 gold at 15 minutes, 3.75 vision efficiency per ward placed. 17 champions in 88 games, which is the most on this team. So widest champion pool. 25 years old, Maokai Sejuani Xin Zhao, 43% of his champion usage. Mid lane is the youngest player on the team, APA. So APA, when we get to international events, he's getting better. Domestically, very strong. I still believe you do ban the Ziggs and Aurelion Sol and see what happens. I know some people want to say, yeah, but what about Azari? What about this? What about that? No, let's take away his best things and see what happens. Still played Ziggs as his most played last season for a reason. 3.8 KDA, 65 KP, 9.2 CS per minute. So solid farm when he's not involved. We've seen a couple players the last few videos that had below 9 CS per minute and around the same kill participation. So APA just as involved and getting more resources in his free time. 5.8 share differential, 1.72 ROI, most efficient player on the team in terms of damage divided by gold, as well as damage share to gold share. 275 gold ahead. This entire team is ahead at 15 minutes in gold, which is huge. Early game, it finds a way to get ahead and then carries that to the mid to late game. 2.64 vision efficiency, 14 champions, 88 games, ranks 4th, 22 years old. Ziggs, Corki, Tristana, just over half of his games played. 80 carry is Yeon. Yeon I have second in his role going into the season. Played the same tournaments as Masu, better stats. 5.1 KDA, 66.8 KP, and a 9.1 CS per minute. Once again, another below 70 kill participation. So kind of doing his own thing. Core JJ leaves him alone quite a bit. 4.9 share differential, 1.7 ROI, very similar to APA in the ROI department. 345 gold ahead, so just roughly doing the math here. 400, 675, 870. And I made a mistake, Umpty is behind. So on average, this team's up 760 gold at 15 minutes. 2.93 vision efficiency, 15 champions in 88 games, 23 years old. Varus, Callista, Ezreal, 42% of his champion usage, which led the team. In support role, we have Core JJ, one of the oldest players in LOL Esports right now, in Tier 1, 30 years old, former world champion, along with impact on this team. He ranks 6th going into the season based on stats, but what he provides is not shown in stats once again. So I have Team Liquid 3rd, but I would say that's the floor. They certainly could be 1st or 2nd when it's all said and done. Just based off last year's stats, 3rd is where they're at. 4.6 KDA, 72.5 KP, a negative 6.5 share differential, 0.75 ROI, very traditional support. I know there are lower ROIs for some supports that I would say are traditional, but with this team and the way it was dealing damage, a 0.75 is actually relatively low. 55 gold ahead, 2.13 vision efficiency. That's very good. Most supports, I would say 90% of supports I've done so far, below 2 vision score per ward placed. So Core knows where to put his wards. 16 champions in 88 games, 30 years old. Rel, Rakan, Nautilus were half of his games played. Coach's spawn, I separated this. So minor regions, so he was in Oceania before he joined the LCS. Coach of Order, he went 27 and 15 during the regular season for a 64% win rate, 13 and 12 in playoffs for 52. And then in major regions, so LCS last season, 14 and 7 during the regular season for a 67% win rate, 22 and 10 in the playoffs for a 69% win rate, and internationally 9 and 12 for a 43% win rate. I think this team is 3rd, like I said, when I went over Core. This team is 3rd at worst. It could be better than that, but right now that's where I have them based on stats. You know, it's FlyQuest, Cloud9, and Team Liquid atop the board. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And hope to see you again tomorrow.